Well, if you're just a clothes hanger, why don't they just use clothes hangers? Why do they need a human for it? Hi, my name is Aimee. I'm British Chinese and I'm a full-time model here in Singapore. I've been modeling for 12 years now.
Hi, I am Nadia. I am a mix of Malay, Arab and Indian. So I got into modeling by accident. It started when I modeled for this online vintage store and it kind of snowballed from there into a full-time thing.
I was scouted when I was 13 in Plaza Singapore, and since then I've been doing like part-time stuff while I was in school, and then when I graduated high school I started doing full-time modeling. And today we are going to play Spill It to talk about what it's like being a full-time model here in Singapore.
To start the game, each player will draw 5 questions from the deck. Players will then take turns choosing a question card from their hand to ask the opponent.
Players will also be given 3 action cards each. For skip, skip the question. For swap, ditch the question and answer the next card from the deck. For switch, get your opponent to answer instead. True or false? Body shaming is a real thing in the industry.
True.
True. Very true.
This is not a new thing, right? It's been spoken about so many times. I'm glad that platforms exist now to call it out. There's this really funny Instagram account that I like to follow called Shit Model Management.
Oh my god, I follow them too!
Yeah.
Dude, they find everything that's like in my brain and then turn them into memes.
People need to realize we're humans too, our bodies change. We can't always stick to the same body shape our whole lives.
But I guess it also depends on what market you're in.
Although I have heard from friends in like other agencies, she's like, oh, it's so annoying. I went back to my agency to get my measurements and they said, oh, you need to lose 1 more inch. My biggest insecurity is...
Oh, what is my biggest insecurity? Do I want to share? But I will say, I used to be really insecure about my sideburns. And there were actually some shoots where they asked if they could shave it. And I was like, no, please don't shave it. But now I think they're really awesome. They've actually been used as like really cool hairstyles in certain shoots, which I love. That really helped.
So I used to hate my baby hair. So I used to hate my baby hair and I would think of ways to, you know, maybe cut it. I try and oil it down or like gel it down and, you know, I just don't like how it sticks out from my hair.
Oh yeah.
But obviously now I'm like,
yeah, look at that. Have you ever starved yourself because of a photo shoot?
No, I have never done that. I guess in my experience, I'm not like the typical cookie cutter model body shape. So I've never felt pressure to, you know, lose weight for any shoot because when they book me because of my look.
I have, unfortunately, at one point in my life when I was young. But honestly, it doesn't change how you look. Like, you can't starve yourself for one day or the morning of a photo shoot and expect to look any different. So it just doesn't work. Starving yourself before a photo shoot isn't really something that we talk about, I guess, with each other. It's something that you just kind of hide and keep it to yourself. But I feel like for girls who are really young, who are just starting out in the industry, they probably, even in Singapore, they probably have done that just because they don't really know how to handle a situation where they're told that they need to lose a certain number of inches wherever on their body in time for a photo shoot. Modeling is a full-time job. You gotta take care of your body. You gotta be healthy, you gotta be fit.
True or false? I have been backstabbed by someone in the industry.
Oh my god, true. True. There was one round of Singapore Fashion Week where there were these models from my agency, a whole bunch of other agencies in Singapore, and then I think maybe like halfway through I started hearing these things about this one particular model that I knew who was talking about myself and other quite successful models in basic, saying how they thought that the agency was only prioritizing me and certain other people in the agency, and they were not happy about that. And it was just so weird because I like knew everyone backstage and it was so odd to hear that someone was saying these things. Do you Photoshop your pictures on social media?
No. I have had days where, you know, a huge boil is on my face and I felt that, oh, it's such a nice picture, but this boil is
the worst.
Ruining my game.
Snapseed?
Snapseed, yes.
I know all
just like boop, boop, okay, pimple gone, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't like Photoshop to make me look skinnier or anything.
It's the healing tool on Snapseed for anyone who wants to get rid of that pesky pimple.
What would you do if your child told you that he or she wants to be a model?
I would support my child no matter what. But I would probably give a couple lectures about the important life lessons that I've learned. What is your weirdest photoshoot experience?
Would be one for a beauty brand in South Africa, and it was just weird because I've seen those ads before, but I didn't know how much effort or people it would take. It was a shower scene for this beauty brand, which is soap. You have like the shower falling behind you and the bubbles, and it was just weird for me that, you know, someone was like managing the bubbles and like put more bubbles on your hand, and then someone else was like adjusting the shower head. So it was just funny to have 10 people all around. What's a common misconception that people have about models?
Models are stupid. Models are smart, guys. There are a lot of very successful models that have very high IQs, like Carly Kloss. She's like hella smart. And I went to university.
Yeah, exactly.
I graduated on the dean's list. No big deal. True or false? Models have an expiry date.
This one is tricky in terms of the world right now because I think people are getting more open to, you know, even hiring models who are older. It's interesting to see, you know, that more brands like that are trying to portray a look that is like relatable for the masses.
Yeah. But I think a lot of people do kind of grow out of modeling and move on to other parts of the media and entertainment industry.
Have you ever done a concept that you have no say in and hated it?
I'm gonna switch.
Actually, yeah, there was one that in the beginning I was like, oh, that's cool, but then I thought, hey, this doesn't really work for me. You're supposed to accentuate my features. Using makeup should complement what I already have, not cover it with tons and tons of makeup. Because afterwards, one of my friends was like, are you modeling or doing drag?
All right, true or false, models are just glorified clothes hangers.
I'll skip it then. I don't really know how to answer that.
Well, if you're just a clothes hanger, why don't they just use clothes hangers?
Exactly.
Right? Why do they need a human for it?
True or false? Modeling is just a stepping stone for me to do other things.
I think modeling is a stepping stone. I would love to explore other parts of media and entertainment, like acting or whatever. I also would love to use my platform for something else. So right now I'm using my platform to be a voice for mental health. It would be nice to eventually, I guess, like own my own business, right? To use my platform to create something that's bigger than myself for other people as well. I wish more people could get to know more about me rather than just my outer appearance.
Before people meet me, they think I'm this serious person who is not super approachable, and they think I'm really fierce, but when they meet me, they're like, oh, you're so easy to talk to. And I'm like, yeah, obviously. I mean, that's just an image you portray, right? And pictures tell 10% of your personality, I would say. Is modeling as a profession being appreciated enough in Singapore?
I'm gonna skip.
I guess
It's
I can
too hard.
help answer.
Yeah, take it.
I guess modeling falls under the creative industry in Singapore. And if you think about how creatives are appreciated in Singapore, they're not really appreciated that much.
I guess it's not really a common route people usually take in Singapore. So many people I met are like lawyers or engineers or going into banking or finance, and I'm like, I'm a model. Yeah. True or false? The modeling industry still lacks inclusivity and representation.
In Asia, at least, there's still more room for growth. But when you look to like places, obviously like New York or London, you know, it's just so diverse. But I noticed that even in Singapore, there are changes that you can see. So, for example, there's an agency that's pretty new, and I like how diverse their models are, you know.
I mean, things are so different from how it was when I first started modeling. But over especially the last few years, I think it's really changed a lot, which is really exciting to see how it continues to evolve, you know?
Yeah.
Culture is changing and the fashion
Yeah.
industry is changing along with it.
Any words of advice to aspiring model out there?
Be punctual. Oh God, this is one of the most important things in the industry. If you're not punctual, you are eating into other people's time.
Learn how to differentiate between something that's constructive versus something that's just criticism. And I feel like that was something that I had a lot of trouble with in the beginning. Because when someone would say like, oh, you're not high fashion enough, then I would just like beat myself up over it. You need to learn how to dust that off your shoulder and move on. And that was the biggest lesson that I learned so far, and it's been great.